Well, that escalated certainly quickly. The high stakes are really in here. And now the most important question now is what kind of goal do Musu has? Is Musu the true antagonist of this arc? Is this another Hyuga situation? Or is he now gonna become an ally? Well, I wouldn't say he is good. But is he bad too? Well, he did say he has nothing against killing the ugly ones. But Musu's character may not actually be so complex as I say he is. But I'm also not exactly sure on what is going on here. This is the Dr. Stone chapter 122, and many more is revived, including Yuzihara and Ukyo. With Yuzihara revived, finally the gang gets back real original clothing as well, which is also good, and also comes back together. Chrome is also revived, and he liked this putrefaction too as well. But then Ukyo detected someone is on the ocean, and who is that? Well, that's none other than Amaryllis, who actually used the light to when everyone was distracted, to flee from the camp. Was that really a good idea? Well, granted she appeared here with Koako and Ginro when their cover was blown, so maybe it was. We see the petrified body of Ginro and Koako. The strange thing is that Ginro almost looks dead in that position, especially since the petrification seems to have hardened his blood as well, and the fact that Koako, well, rests her head on his wound. Were they too late, or is he really saved? Regardless, it's a very sad situation. Amaryllis used that chaos when everyone did not look to flee, but there was one person who saw her flee, and that one was of course Musu. With now reuniting with Senku, now she can actually tell what Koako told her. But the strange thing is that no one is actually reacting immensely on the fact that the head and Soyuz may be related. That may be to the fact that they only have Ginro's word on it. I'm not saying they won't not doubt Ginro's word, but it's more of the fact that well, he looked like him according to Ginro anyways, is what they said. So it's not exactly confirmed for them if he is related to them. But will Soyuz still play a role? We don't know. But Senku put things together saying it's a waste to think about it, and so he gathers all of those allies he has revived and begins to put up the puzzle pieces. This is the Kingdom of Science intelligence gatherings again, as we now get a little bit more into puzzle solving, as we see the genius minds of Senku, Ryusu, Ukyo, and Ashiguro Gen. I'm not saying Chrome because he's not a genius, but he's definitely intelligent. Either way, all four of them except Chrome has actually figured out what is going on. So they put the pieces, so the puzzle pieces are slowly being filled by these geniuses, as well as so Chrome also can understand, and he actually puts even more things together. Is the fact that this chapter is basically of puzzle pieces and many theories together. It also shows the intelligence of them all. First of all, they do find out indeed that the head is petrified, meaning that he is not responsible for the petrification weapon, or that he doesn't hold it, and that Ibara is definitely the one behind it. But also that Ibara is not holding the weapon itself. And this is actually a good point, that Amaryllis is pointing out that Ibara is very cautious. But Ashiguro Gen is saying the fact that there is not more than one weapon, because if there was, then he would have used that weapon himself when he was in trouble. So the reason why he's actually giving Kirisame the weapon is because not that he trusts her, it's more of the fact that he doesn't want to endanger himself, because those that throw the weapon are also in danger of being petrified. But if he doesn't throw it, then he is not in danger. So he actually gives the one and only weapon to Kirisame in order to make sure that she is the one endangered and not him. And which truly is scum. And Ukyo asks, how did Kirisame throw the weapon? and according to Amaryllis, very high above, which according to Senko and the gang confirms that Kirisame does not know that the head is petrified. Last week I actually asked, is Ibara, Kirisame and Mosu in on all of this together, because Kirisame almost seems too loyal. But this seems to suggest that no, she does not know that the head is a petrified statue, which is actually a little bit surprising. Is she a dull villain? And what I mean by that, I mean I don't question orders type of villain, because has she never really been curious to do that, or does she feel like being entrusted with the power of this petrification weapon is enough responsibility, and therefore she doesn't want to anger the head? Or has Ibara used his voice channeling in order to, well, trick her somehow? But this seems to be that maybe Kirisame is not a villain by choice. But Mosu though, we don't know him, because he actually has followed Amaryllis and actually confirms that he too knows that. And not even Taiyu with his endurance can keep him at bay, but he can stand up strong, but he knows that he cannot do that. So the geniuses put things together, as Chrome is actually the one who finds out more, especially when Amaryllis mentioned that she may actually have led Mosu here. And that's because Chrome know that he has to look all too well at different things, and it's very difficult in tailing or finding rocks. So if Mosu knew that Amaryllis was a infiltrator, why didn't he just kill her when she was running away? The reason for that was not to track them down, because it was that he always knew that Ginro and Kohaku were infiltrators. I mean, he knew that Kohaku was up to no good from the start, but he knew that even Ginro was perhaps not even a woman to begin with, because he silently sat and watched Ibara was endangering himself in that position. Because even though Ibara may think he has an advantage at that moment, Ginro saw the statue, and yes, his life was threatened, but his secret was exposed. In a way, the fact that Mosu knows that Ibara is the puppet king of the petrification kingdom, or I mean puppet king is the one pulling the strings, and he wants him to get out of the way, but he is not killing him himself. That is the problem here. What is Mosu's real goal? He knows what Ibara has been up to, but he hasn't said anything. That may actually explain that Mosu is not a good guy by any means. If he was, he would have actually dethroned Ibara a long time ago. Because if you think about it, he seems very much stronger than Ibara. If he wanted, he could have taken over the island and then enslaved every single girl if he wanted to, couldn't he? Or is there something that he wants to use in order to get the people to accept him as the new leader? Everyone thinks the head is the one who's doing everything, but Ibara and Mosu are the only ones who knows that that's not true. Because Ibara is manipulating the system, but Ibara doesn't know that Mosu does that. So the thing is though, why isn't Mosu intervening? Is that because he wants to have an advantage in the situation? Or does he want to take the throne of the head himself? But he intends to do that by exposing Ibara in a different way. We should not look at it that he may be good. Granted, he did not kill Kohaku, but we still don't know Mosu's thing. So the only one that actually can negotiate with Mosu is Gen. So Mas versus Gen, the battle of tongues begins. The question is though, can the mentalist even smooth talk someone as dangerous as Mosu? Because everyone has confirmed they stand no chance against fighting Mosu. But can they team up with Mosu? And again, what is Mosu's goal? Mosu's single goal seems to have been cuties. So I can't see him disbanding this harem. I do not trust Mosu, what he wants. But Ibara is definitely scum. No, don't get me wrong. He is the scum here. The question is though, who is more dangerous? And can really Gen manage to mind trick Mosu If you ask me, Moso almost seems too smart for that. Is he gonna be the one opponent the Kingdom of Science cannot trick? And he also doesn't even seem to be that surprising about the science stuff. Granted, he didn't seem much about science, but I wonder. Whoever Moso is, he is someone we should not underestimate. But I'm a little bit cross that he gets all the personality, while Kirisame gets none. But this does seem to confirm that, yeah, Kirisame is just a forced into villain. She is not really the way she is that way. But give me your thoughts if you have any.